Home, the gold.
He could be too far. No, he's kicking. Oh, what a catch!
Puts a spicy forehand out in front of Naomi Morcilla.
Wu for the win. Team Canada. Garrett Wu!
Santos with the layout grab.
Oh, that fantastic grab. The claws of Chaffer.
Canada just became the world champions.
Yo, Canada and the rest of the world. You're listening to the Huckin podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Theo and living in St. Catharines, Ontario.
Hey, this is Kelsey. I am your guest host today, although a frequent guest host, I suppose. I'm coming at you from Halifax, Nova Scotia.
East Coast, West Coast. I will confess to you, Kelsey, before we even ask how you're doing that. I think I did on the last episode reference Toronto as the East Coast and corrected myself on the air. So I will
appreciate that you corrected yourself.
I will say I did that, and I guess I had to say more central or anything, or I can't say the East Coast, basically.
Yeah, correct.
I know we say this pretty much every time you come on, but got to give love to the East Coast. Hey, we gave love to Spawn because Spawn had a crazy run. If you haven't checked out that episode, it dropped last week. Spawn 15 to 4. That's cool.
It's special.
You know some people on that team too, right?
I know everyone on that team.
you're like close friends with some of them. So like,
they're my buddies. Yeah.
So, maybe have you had a chance to speak to any of them after that event? Like to talk about the tournament?
I mean, we've I play and see a lot of them all the time. I don't think we had any really specific conversations except that, they went into that tournament knowing they were probably underseeded and they could perform, and they hadn't had, all pieces of the roster together before that tournament. They were always missing, one or two people and things like that. I think they knew that they were confident that they could do well. So, I don't know if they were surprised at how well they did, but I don't think they went in there intending to turn some heads. So, and I think they were happy that they did that. So,
yeah, they definitely did that. And I played them earlier in the year, and we toasted them. I spoke to someone on Spawn recently. I think her name's Brittany. Is there a Brittany on the team?
There is.
Yeah. So I talked to Brittany, and I was like, "Yeah, we smoked you." But it was a different team out at Nationals. She's like, "Yeah, I know. We were missing our whole line." I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So
there was a lot of, or not a lot, but a few of the players on that team went to Windmill with my team in June, and so they actually ended up missing some time with Spawn because they were in Europe with us. So
yeah. Some of the tall O-line cutters were not there. On the matching side.
Yeah,
so I did notice that.
Missed those.
I did notice that. So Kelsey, it's been, I don't want to say a hot minute. It's been maybe a cold minute since you've been on, but what's life been like in the East Coast since you last came on the podcast? Any exciting things happen? I know you got a cool video series up. Maybe talk about that first, because that's hype. That's hype.
I mean, that's just like me personally, but I mean, one thing I do every year, I've been doing it since 2018. So my resolution in 2018 was to take a video every single day of the year. And at the time, it was a free app. I think you would pay for it now, but used an app called 1 Second every day. And it basically just helps you crop the video into 1 second and then automatically puts it together. And then you have, this 6.5 minute video at the end of the year. And I've been doing that since 2018. So, and then on New Year's Day every year, I put together the video and I watch it and I post it and whatever. And it's really cool. Like for me personally, I think my friends like it too. Because they're always, featured in the video, and it's just kind of fun to watch someone's year unfold really quickly. But yeah, so I just finished my 6th year of that a couple days ago. So Theo saw that. And it's really fun. I would actually highly encourage, it's still very early in the year. I would highly encourage people to do it. I'm like a sponsor for the app. I've gotten so many people onto it, but I can't explain how fun it is at the end of the year to see your whole year laid out. It's very rewarding.
So do you just shoot, is it kind of like B-reel? Is it like B-reel where it tells you to do something, or
No, so you just take a video on your camera, on your phone, in your regular app. You don't need to be in the app or anything, just in your regular camera app. And then it automatically, you go into the app and it just shows you the video that you took that day and then forces you to crop it into 1 second, basically. And then it pastes them all together at the end. So it's really dummy proof. And then I just add some music, and yeah, it's so fun. And now I have 6 years. I do miss days occasionally. It's funny. The first year the video was actually 6.5 minutes long, and now the video is more like 5 minutes because I miss, a day
so
a week or
you're
something
a liar.
like that.
Not every day. That's
I
like
know. I
almost
used to be
every day.
really, really crazy about it, and like I would every single day. And now I miss some days, and that's okay. But like generally, I have a video from almost every day of the past 6 years, and so I can like go back and look at little bits. And it's cool because sometimes it's like big stuff, like I'll have like ultimate tournaments or I'll have vacations, and that stuff's already easy to remember. What I really like is that it also allows me to remember really small days and like days that not a lot happened, but there was like one small little moment that was worth filming. And it helps me remember those things too. So it's very cool. If when I'm really, really old, I think I'll really like having these to look back at when I'm young and cool, when I get old and lame. So.
And yeah, that's very interesting because for me, I think it would just be me doing the same thing. Like
it is a lot of that. Like if
I have a lot of routine, so for me, it'd be like it'd just be a video of me doing a puzzle, like or something.
Most of my videos these days are my cat. But you know what? She's the light of my life, so it makes sense that she's heavily featured. So there is a lot of redundancy, but.
Okay. Besides that, anything else you've been up to?
I went to PAUK before Christmas. I don't think I've been on since then. I think I was on doing.
You helped with the preview though.
Exactly. Yeah. So I haven't been on since I went. But that was really nice. It was really nice to go to some warm weather. It was nice to win gold. It was super fun. The trip had some hiccups. Some people got some food poisoning, had some injuries, but my personal trip was really good. So it was really, really fun. And it was a big old bummer to come back to we had a snowstorm the night that we got back here in Halifax. So
classic. That
was a bummer, but it was very, very fun. So that was definitely a highlight from before Christmas.
So the real question we have to ask is, did you get sunburned? Because you had talked about you're going to bring copious amounts of sunscreen. Did you get sunburned?
I didn't. I was very vigilant with my sunscreen application. I also wore a long sleeve most of the time. It also didn't feel, because I was like, I say I was very vigilant. I was probably like more chill than I usually am with sunscreen, and I didn't get burnt at all. I don't know. I thought the sun was supposed to be stronger when you were closer to the equator, but I don't actually know if that's true. I also learned about, first of all, it was in the same time zone as Halifax, which blew my mind. I, for some reason, just didn't know that anywhere else was in the same time zone as Halifax. But that's because I grew up in Newfoundland, and Newfoundland, the island, is the only thing in that time zone. Newfoundland has its own.
What time zone is that? It's not AST. What is it?
Newfoundland is Newfoundland time, and it's a half an hour, not an hour.
What the heck?
Yeah. Okay. So I grew up, I guess, with time zone confusion because, I was very surprised, A, that Dominican Republic was in the same time zone as Halifax. And then B, I guess I just forgot about things you learn about the solar system and the Earth when you're a kid. But the days are like more consistent length there because obviously now it's obvious to me that, when you're further from the equator, there's more range. So in the winter we have shorter days and in the summer we have longer days. But when you're closer to the equator, that difference is not as pronounced. So I was shocked the first day we were down there that the sun set at like 6 o'clock. And then people were saying that, it wouldn't actually vary as much. I don't know what it gets to in June, but it really confused me. For some reason, I expected to go down and experience longer days. And then I didn't. But it was a really nice trip.
Yeah, last week we were, Danny and I became like a mental health podcast, and then we became like a motivational podcast at the end. And today we're becoming like a space, world, life podcast.
Could be anything on Huckin.
Diversifying here. But the topic at hand today is we're going to go back and look at our predictions from 2023. So by the time this comes out, a week or more into the year, but we're going to look back at 2023 and what we said what we thought was going to happen. I will say I got a few right. I'm going to be straight up. Kelsey, I don't know if you got a few right, but
I got less than half right, but just less, just a little bit less.
Okay, that's not bad. We tried to be somewhat, some of them were perhaps a little gimme, some were definitely a little bit crazier. So you're going to find out after the break. And then we're also going to talk about just kind of the upcoming year. We won't do a predictions this time around, but just kind of break down the calendar and some of the different events happening that you can look forward to. Because right now there isn't a calendar that exists. So this is the calendar that we've compiled. Hopefully we haven't missed an event, but yeah, you're going to have all that after this quick break. This is Theo.
And I'm Danny, and we are wishing you a new year, new you. So that means to brush off that dust off that disc, go outside and throw. No excuses. No excuses, not even snow.
And you're listening to the Huckin podcast, your coast-to-coast guide
to
for all things Canadian Ultimate. All right, so this is where, Kelsey, we expose if our picks were right or not. So I will take the bullet and start first, just because I'll start with a wrong take, because I did an AUDL take, and that take was Phil Turner was going to win Defensive Player of the Year in the AUDL. He was close the year before, but unfortunately, due to some unfortunate circumstances with injury, Phil was only able to compete in 6 games. So I know he was on the beach a team. I looked up that, so he has been playing. So I expect him to be bouncing back, ready to go. Perhaps the Rush roster hasn't been made because they're still doing tryouts and stuff. But if he is playing, I expect him to continue to have a monster year. But I did miss on that to start my picks. So that was not good. But let's filter in, because I'm just looking at the next thing on my list. USAU Club. I think you had one prediction from that, correct?
I did. So I predicted that no Canadian mixed team would make USAU nets, which I guess really is just shade at Red Flag. But
yeah, that's the only team.
I was wrong. And so, you know what? I said this last year too, that people should use my predictions as motivation and not be insulted. So yeah, they proved me wrong, which is great, because not only did they make USAU nets, but they also made quarters. They did have a tough quarterfinal matchup. So that's when they got knocked out. But yeah, I mean, good for Red Flag. They proved me wrong, which any of these kind of like negative predictions related to Canadian teams or people, I hope I'm proved wrong. So good on them.
Yeah. So it's reverse motivation. I went crazy for some reason in this division and picked 3 things. So I will say those things now. But first one, I picked another award winner, Alyssa Mason, to win Defensive Player of the Year. That also did not happen. So picking awards is kind of hard because there's just so many good players out there.
Sixers didn't have their best USAU club showing.
That's also true. That is also true. But
she personally probably still played quite well. But
yeah, I think so.
You're not going to get that award on a team that doesn't make that deep unless you're like crazy. So
yeah, and I think now she's also taking a lot of the like O reps too. It's not just D reps.
She crosses over a lot.
It's kind of like mixing it up. But here is where I will give myself. Oh wait, no, dang it! I was going to give myself a pat on the back, but it's only a half pat. Only half pat. Okay, I'll tell you why.
Okay.
2 Vancouver teams will make semifinals of USAU. I said Red Flag specifically and UBC Women's, and so I was half right. UBC Women's did make their semifinal in their tournament, and then Red Flag made quarters, so they were kind of close.
Right,
so
because this was the prediction where it was impossible for both of us to be right, because you said Red Flag would make semifinals, and I said no team would make nationals.
Yeah, and then I was close again, but off by 1 round. So I said one open team would make quarters of USAU. Unfortunately, I'm trying to remember now. Yes, only one Canadian team made it to quarters. That was Furious George, and they got knocked out by Ring of Fire in pre-quarters. That game is available online. You can watch that from AK Ashkai Rajan Studios, and he has that game. Furious was close with Ring of Fire, not Red Flag, and Ring of Fire just like scored a bunch of points towards the end to win. So you can check out that game if you want. But yeah, so I guess I'm close for some, but like not fully right, and that's fine. This is why these prediction episodes exist. So
totally.
Okay, where do you want to go next?
That was my only USAU prediction. I did a few CUC predictions.
Okay.
One being a semi-hot take and one being not a hot take, although it is funny. There is an asterisk to what I said. So first I had predicted that Furious was going to win CUCs in the Open Division. So funny enough, this is the first time ever that Furious went to CUCs and didn't even make the finals. So,
that was a chill take at the time, right?
So I was like super wrong about that, which is funny. That was like a low key, that was my safe take. my other safe take, well, one of my other safe takes was that Sixers were going to win CUCs, which was right. Although it is funny because I listened back to that episode today, and because I had to remind myself what my predictions were. And in the episode, I said, like, traffic's good, but I just don't think that they can beat Sixers, in a game that matters. And so, funny enough, Sixers did win CUCs, so they were the champions on Canadian soil. But then a couple months later, traffic beat Sixers at USAU Nats. So, ate my words. Couldn't even get a win on that one. So, I guess I was technically right with that one, and then wrong with the Furious. So those were my CUC predictions.
My question, this might be a hot take question, but what is more impactful in terms of a defeat? Is it losing in the finals of CUC, or is it losing in a pool play game at, in my opinion, the hardest tournament in the world, which is USA Nationals? I know World Games, but like single gender, the hardest tournament in the world,
I think objectively winning a national tournament is, a bigger accomplishment than winning a pool play game at you. Like, I think if you just like measure it that way, contextually, I think that win at USAU Nats was really important for traffic, because I think, because it was their first time beating Sixers, in my opinion, it now brings that in to be possible, because it's really hard to do something for the first time. And I think it would be very easy for a team like Traffic in that position, or any team in that position, where you have this like regular opponent that you're so close, but you can never quite get over that hurdle. When you can finally get over that hurdle, like there's a huge like mental load relieved after that. And so I think contextually, and Traffic is a team that's just getting better and better, and Sixers is a team that I would say has been faltering a little bit over the recent times. They're still excellent, don't get me wrong. They did win CUCs, like I said, but I think contextually that was a really big win, even though technically it was just a pool play game. It also set up a much different route through the tournament. Those pool play games matter a lot because they affect who you play in your pre-quarter and your quarter and all of that. So, yeah, I think it was a huge win for Traffic.
The good old monkey off the back, as they say. So,
exactly.
That was a big deal. I'm looking through my CUC picks here. I said Vancouver, Forever Young, going to exact their revenge. Was that for mixed or Forever? Is Forever Young Masters? Mixed Masters.
Yes,
I'm going CUC Masters out here.
I see, because I do have a Masters one too. But.
Oh, do you? Okay, I'll let you say yours after. So
that's okay.
I said they would exact their revenge and win the tournament after not being able to play because of the rain. I was there for that when it was rained out. And they came third. So once again, I was close, but not close enough. They lost to Cold in the semifinals, 14-11. So
they got dirty gold.
Dirty gold, yeah. So I guess not really right, but close a little bit. You had a Masters pick too, right? You said? I
did. I predicted that Stella would win CUC Masters. What's funny about this prediction, which like it was not a hot take, Stella has been dominating, and they did win, and then they won PAOK. What is funny about this take is that at the time I made this prediction last year, I didn't know I would be playing on Stello. So it wasn't actually a biased prediction at the time, but now it seems quite biased.
Now you admitted it's biased. So.
Yeah, exactly. But at the time, I didn't know I would be playing with them, but I ended up playing with them at CUC Masters and at PAOK. So got them gold medals.
Yeah, we always say there's the reverse hype, and then there's sometimes just straight hype. It just depends how the team does. We'll just we use it to for our favor. So I said this take that basically one of the perennial contenders, being Furious or GOAT, wouldn't make the final, because I said Montreal's team, Mephisto, would make the final. They come fifth actually, so not a good take there from me, but at least I got
the
one thing
essence of
right.
The take is right.
That's what I'm saying. Like General Strike should have given them more love, because clearly
good for them.
They showed up. So the other CUC take I had was there would be a repeat champion in CUC juniors. And I will say I'm technically right on this, because as Danny pointed out last week, technically a lot of the players that were on these Dino teams were on Eclipse last season, and it's the same coaching staff. So technically I'm right. What do you think, Kelsey? No,
I don't give you that W. No.
Ah, shoot. That's tough. That's tough.
Look, we're both wrong about a lot of things today.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, this is the fun part. I mean, don't take it too seriously. That's why I was like, maybe I won't do it this year, but we'll give it a rest and maybe come back the next season. But yeah, that's what I had for CUC. What other? I'm just looking through our list here.
I had 2 predictions about like specific Canadian players. One kind of specific to U24, and then one just more general, I suppose, specific to club. But my club player prediction, and this is funny because this was also wrong, was that Lauren Kimura was going to have a really big year. And as far as I know, Lauren Kimura did not play. So, she didn't have a bad year. She just didn't have a year. So
yeah, I guess that's a did not DNQ, did not qualify.
Exactly. So, tough. I believe that whenever Kimura plays again, she will do well. So, I mean, word on the street is Kimura was at Masters Team Canada tryouts. So
word on the street. That's all we're going to say. Word on the street. Word on the street.
I mean, words from many different people on many streets. So, if she plays Masters, I'm going to put a prediction in right now that she will do very well.
Probably one of the top assist getters of the tournament.
You got to imagine.
Okay, this is where I do a side little rant on Masters because
excellent.
Both of us Masters age out here.
Yes.
We're gonna openly admit that to the audience. And so Masters age currently, open matching players 33, female matching players 30. I think it's too low for female matching players. I think it's too low.
A lot of people, I don't think that that's a hot take. I think a lot of people,
I'm just
particularly open players, believe that. I don't know what the motivation from the beginning was. My personal anecdotal experience from just like being around Ultimate is that a lot of women players are absent for like a year or two or longer when they have pregnancies, and that's different obviously for a women matching player than a men matching player. That's like a lot more impactful to their Ultimate career, at least in terms of like just having to take time off. Not to say that people can't come back better than ever. So I wonder if maybe that was part of the motivation, is that there's just a lot of women who leave the division at that like early 30s time. So maybe they lowered the age to have more of a viable division. I really don't know. That's just a total guess. But it definitely feels young. Like I've been Masters age now for several years. And it's funny because I only started playing Club Ultimate when I was 28. So I was almost immediately Masters age.
Well, there you go.
So it definitely feels young. And when you hear about the people who are at tryouts and stuff like that, some of them you're like, they're Masters age? Are you serious? Because the other thing too is I think I don't know what the age for like peak athleticism is for men, but women, I think it's like people like often like will reach their athletic peak in like their late 20s, early 30s. So it feels quite funny that would be considered Masters, but it's a great division though. It's super fun. And at Nationals, the women's division had 13 like Canadian Nationals, the women's team division had 13 teams compared, like it was the biggest division. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was USAU Masters Nationals, the women's team that had like a lot of players on Brood Squad.
Mm-hmm, Reboot Squad.
Yeah. Like they had a lot of players that were like in their prime. I think Cameron Groom was on that team and like a bunch of others. I'm like, these are like the top players in the division regardless of age. And they are Masters eligible and just like taking down these other Masters players. So yeah. That's anyways, that's interesting. But we're going to keep going with the picks here. I have two more plus one non-serious one that I did. So the one that I said was going to happen was no university teams will repeat at CUC, and then Nick McFadden from the University of Manitoba would repeat as D1 MVP. That came half true because the Manitoba got extinguished in the quarterfinals by the People's Champion Victoria there. So that repeat didn't happen. But hey, once again, this team always up on me, always proving me wrong. That's your McMaster Marauders. They repeated for the technically third straight time. So that prediction was wrong. But I will end my real predictions with one I got right, which I'm very happy about. which is more than one Canadian team will make USAU D1 nationals, because normally it's been UBC. So UBC made it, but also another people's champion from the same region, the Victoria women's team. So the Vikes. I'm not sure actually their club name, but Victoria. I'll just say Victoria.
Sure.
Victoria women's team made it, and we already talked about that last week. How that was a really cool story. And so, I'm going to predict. Okay, I'll make one prediction, which is 3. Oh, this is I'll say 2.
No, just do it.
No.
Do it.
I don't think Vic's going to go, but or I guess they're going to try. Okay, I'll say 3. This is my only prediction. 3 Canadian teams will make it to USAU D1 nationals this year, because I know a team on the eastern side of the country is going, not East Coast, but Ontario side. Mm-hmm. They're going to go. They may or may not be the defending champs of the Open Division. It's not fully confirmed yet, but they have. Many of their players have expressed that they are going. So
nice.
I won't believe it until I actually see their name on the regionals.
It's too late.
ballot.
You've made the 3-team prediction.
But yeah, 3. I'll make the 3. Do you have any other ones that you did? Any ones you got?
I
right?
do.
Okay.
So one of the ones I had was related. Actually, 2 are related to U24s.
Okay.
And both are right.
Oh no.
So.
I remember this one now. Oh no, this is turn your ears away.
So one was positive. So I said that Martin was going to have a really good tournament. And he did. He was on the open team. He was 3rd or 4th on the open team in stats. He was a very powerful player, which, expected him to be. And then he also just recently made Team Canada, and he was one of the few, I think, kind of young stars that made it.
The open team has some young alternates, but he's one that straight up just made the team. And
he's a little youngster. I don't even know if he's 20 yet. He might be 20. He's really young.
No, he's got to be at least 20, no?
Well, he's maybe 20, 21. He's he's under 24. He was not.
Was he on the U20 team
last
in 2022?
Yeah.
Oh,
or sorry, not last year. So it's 2024. But you know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, so he was on the U20 team in 2022. So he is probably 22.
He is a youth. Yeah. Anyways, he had a really big year, did great at U24s, is an excellent player. So I was happy to say that, and it was an easy pick, but I was right about that one. The other one I made, unfortunately, I was extremely right.
I don't want to hear this.
So I said that not all the U24 teams would medal, and I didn't say which ones I thought wouldn't, because I wasn't sure, but I was I just don't feel confident in these rosters compared to the world, which is getting so much stronger. And unfortunately, I was very right, because none of the teams medaled. So, sucks to suck. We didn't get any medals at that tournament.
Yeah. We sometimes get ragged a bit, on Discord.
Well, like I said, it is in part a reflection of the team. I'm not going to pretend that, I made that prediction because I was completely confident in those rosters. They underperformed to an extent, some of them in some moments for sure, but it is also that the world is getting much better. As a whole, I feel like Canada had this, not advantage, but was kind of ahead of the game for a while, and countries are all figuring it out now. They're all putting together really good programs. They're training people younger, and it's making for really strong teams. So, sucks to be right about that one, but, was actually super right about that one. So.
You are right.
Yeah.
I will say, the catching up is for sure happening, but there's multiple factors, probably maybe shared on a different time. The only thing I'll say related to that is geography is a big part of the struggle. Let's just be straight up. So West Coast, East Coast, middle of the country, it's just so far away.
Oh, it's very difficult.
These other countries France or Germany,
they're all a few hours away from.
I don't know that much geography, but I know they're a lot closer. And those kids have been playing together since they were U17, U20s, U24s, and then eventually together on the national team. So
exactly,
we saw on the France beach side that did really well. They had some young players, 20-year-olds, they were killing it. So there were a lot going on around the world. We're not going to make predictions for the U20s or the world tournament coming up, but. That will lead kind of into our calendar outlook. The last thing I said was people are going to revolt and start using illegal players at University Nationals, and I'm more than certain that some team probably used an illegal player. They just didn't report it. So,
Do you want to open that Pandora's box again?
Well, I mean,
Not that you opened it first time, but
I already opened it last time with the discussion about Hound. But let's just say that I've heard through the grapevine that there's definitely been players that were not enrolled in schools playing for not Division I as much, but I'm not going to. I can't even tell you who specifically. But
I still have all my eligibility left. I didn't know what Ultimate was when I was in university. So if anybody wants me to come take a course, I could join your team.
Do you have varsity eligibility too? I was talking to someone today when I was.
I mean, I've never played, so I assume.
Yeah, I was getting some running training today. I was learning some running form from the track coach here at Brock. I'm just. I know he doesn't listen to podcasts, so. Anyways, I'm like, yo, can I train with I'm like, I can. He's like, this is not bad. I was like, oh, I can run track now. I'm not that fast. But he's like, do you have eligibility? I was like, I have all eligibility left.
Yep.
But I don't think staff are allowed to run track. So track's a very fascinating sport. That's a little random tangent, but I always found track such a very interesting sport because you're just training the same movement. Mm-hmm. It's not like Frisbee where you can do like a lot of fun stuff.
Multiple different
It's like
things,
you're literally just like jumping.
Very much a specialist.
Yeah, you're just jumping. So I'm just trying to get like 2% faster. So help me analyze my running form is what I told him. So unfortunately, he said there's no magic pill to running fast.
Shoot.
Well, he said, Theo, if I could get you way faster in one session, I would not be here. I would be training somewhere in some other country.
Better people.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that does make sense. So stuck helping me out. But any other random tangent there? But any other thoughts on, or did you have any other predictions? Did I miss one on you or no?
I did have one other one, which was related to C4UC. And I said that an Atlantic Canadian team would medal, which I was wrong about. Although I will say, shout out to Newfoundland. They started C4UC seeding was weird this year. It was like the pot system again. So you can't say like what somebody was ranked, you know what I mean, to start. But Newfoundland was essentially in the bottom pot to start, and they ended up finishing 6th. So they crossed up and played really well. So, 6th is not a medal. So I was wrong about it, but shout out to Newfoundland for representing Atlantic Canada well.
That's not brunch money, right? Does brunch money even exist anymore? That's like an old
does not.
team.
That was from a few years ago.
There used to be like a Nova Scotia 1 and Nova Scotia 2 team, I'm pretty sure. What's up with that?
It was, yeah. Well, there was just a lot of players who wanted. We play a lot of 4s out here.
But why those names?
I don't know. That was back before I played. I mean, there's no creativity there at all.
We're NS1 and NS2.
Yeah, like glaringly. And I think they just like did a game against each other to find out who was going to be 1 and who was going to be 2. But yeah, brunch money did well for all the years that it participated. But the last year it was supposed to attend was 2020. I was on the team that year, but then it got canceled for the pandemic. So womp womp.
It's tough.
Yep.
But with the year coming up that we're currently in, the year of our Lord 2024, we have a lot of events coming up. So Eastern University Series is happening, I believe, this month, and it's going to continue on. There's like some flagship events, like the main one that happens at the end, where you kind of have to be invited to like the top event. And then there's C4UC happening in April in Beauchâteau, Quebec. Will some East Coast teams be attending that, you think? It's a little
I've heard
closer
that there
to you.
will be. Yeah, I saw the bids were posted recently. I believe there was 1 bid from Nova Scotia, 1 bid from Newfoundland, and 1 bid from PEI is what I remember. And I think that those bids were, like, the process was that you had the provincial disc organization had to like express how many teams they wanted to send. Like that's what the bids were based on, because everybody gets at least 1 to start. So I assume that means that there will be a team from Newfoundland, from Nova Scotia, and from PEI, which is fun because I don't know that PEI, well, in my memory, PEI hasn't sent a team. So I don't know if they ever have. But, and you know what else I noticed, which was really fun in that bid graphic, was that there was a team from the territories.
No way. No. Is that actually going to happen?
I don't know, but like it's the first time I've ever even seen that they expressed interest in a team. So I really hope it does, because that would be super cool. I have no idea where it would be from, any other details. I just noticed in the graphic that there was a 1 underneath territories. But I'm hopeful because that would be super cool.
Okay, so there you go. Territories out here.
So yeah, that's C4UC in mid-April in Quebec.
Yeah, if there is a territory team, definitely going to have them on the podcast. So
definitely.
Definitely want to give love to that because that's really cool. Then we have the newly crowned Ultimate Canada Canadian High School Invitational, what is it? UCHSI. I'm not in love with the name there, Kelsey. What do you?
No, it's
a
lot.
Is that the right name? I just want to double check this because that's a mouthful of a name.
It's definitely the Ultimate Canada High School National Invite. I don't know if they're like regularly thrown around that acronym, but
no. Well, it used to be the Canadian High School Ultimate Championships, but
that
I
sounds
think
a bit better.
Oh, my internet's not loading here, but I think they changed it because it's technically like an invite. So I think that's why they did that. But that's in Toronto, so you can, you can, if you're in Toronto, go check out some of the up and coming talent out there. And then there's college nationals in May. So like with my prediction, as I said, I expect a few Canadian teams to be there. So
you expect 3 Canadian teams to be there.
What did I just say? A bunch?
You said a few, but you specifically said 3.
Yeah, 3. Oh, I stand corrected. It's the Ultimate Canada High School Invitational, not Canadian High School. It's just Ultimate Canada High School Invitational. UCHSI.
Okay.
Yeah,
One less
right.
C. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have this will be interesting in the calendar. I don't know what you think about this, but World Juniors in Birmingham, the UK, July 20th to 27th. So a lot of these players will be able to play club up until then. So I think that's actually a good thing for our teams with the 3 teams,
I would say.
Right?
Yep. Is that the same place in the UK that U24s was last year? It is, right?
You put me on the spot like that, I think.
Sorry, I think it is.
No. Wasn't it Nottingham?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it was like a very like British sounding name.
yeah, Nottingham. So,
but in the UK again.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want more frisbee, there's more frisbee happening at the exact same time because CUC Masters will be taking place in Waterloo. This is where I pitch to any Masters team listening that I'm a free agent. So, if you want a younger handler on the younger side of the Masters scale, holla at your boy. Send your applications or tryout details or whatever into the Huckin or my personal inbox. Are you going to do the same? Are you going to say you're a free agent? What are you going to be doing? You don't know yet.
I'll definitely play CUC Masters, but TBD on what team. All right. I have a first choice, but we'll see.
I'll see you in Waterloo, though, is what we're saying.
What?
I'll see you in Waterloo, is what we're saying.
Yeah, I will definitely. Or I mean, I shouldn't say definitely. I hopefully will be there. But yeah, I'm excited. I really enjoyed CUC Masters last year, and I do actually. I enjoy the fact that I won't have to travel all the way across the country for it this coming year because that was expensive.
Yeah, you can stay on the same East Coast and go right to
exactly. It's
Waterloo,
just East Coast to East Coast, same thing.
Same thing. So
just a casual 22-hour drive.
There you go. This is where we also say put, Theo and Danny have had a chance to get on the mic. Let's get Theo and Kelsey on the mic as well. So
that'd be fun.
That's where we make our little plea for that. And then CUC seniors and juniors happening in the capital city of our great country, August 11th to 18th. So as we know from historical precedents, there will be some teams not attending this tournament. Let's just say that it's not. It's gonna be a different tournament.
Yep, we would think so. Although Ottawa is a nice central location, so it's not too bad because I do think when you have the combination of a not significant year, if you want to call it that, and one of the kind of opposite ends of the country, that's when you get really some teams missing. So we'll see.
Yeah, this is
what do we have after that? Then we have the main event, the big one. Then we have Worlds in Australia, August 31st to September 7th. So everyone's going to go to the land down under. So that's the big one. Hopefully that's going to be a really good tournament. Canada's sending a team in all divisions, so they've already announced their rosters. So yeah, that's kind of the big event of the year. This hasn't happened in 6 years. When was the last?
No, technically 8 years.
Oh, well, there you go.
No, 6 years. No, I can't.
6, I think.
No, 8 years.
2016. Oh wow, yeah. I just forgot what math is. Yeah. So this is like the first like true worlds. So that should be really exciting. Countries are gonna be sending their best. And then following that, the usual USAU Nationals in October. I don't know if they've announced the location, but I would guess there's a very good chance it will be in San Diego again.
Fly me to San Diego.
San Diego is very nice, so I think they should always host it there. And then we assume that CUUC will be in October as well. It's not announced yet, but it will be in a location less nice than San Diego. I can pretty much guarantee that. So, but that's a big one for the university students. And then the last one for the year that we have noted, at least, obviously there's lots of little ones, but the last big one will be Masters Worlds, and that is in California, and that is mid-November. So that'll be pretty good time to go to California, I would say. It's in Irvine, California.
Irvine, I like it. I'm calling it Irvine from now on.
I just had an oil delivery from Irving like 30 minutes ago, so that was on my mind. Anyways, that's mid-November, so that'll cap off another big year for Ultimate. Three world events again. So
yeah, I think they're really playing catch up here. And speaking of the world events, like we were talking about this off the air, but I believe it's on their Instagram. If you look at the teams, there's not all the countries that normally are going. Like there's some missing out there. You mean? Yeah. Yeah, for WUC, like no Belgium. There's a couple others. Ireland.
I think how far and how expensive it is to go to Australia is going to be really prohibitive to a lot of teams. There's very little Europe representation so far compared to what would normally be at a Worlds. There's not a lot of representation from Asian countries yet. Maybe there'll be more teams that will sign up, although, multiple deadlines have already passed. They keep extending the deadlines. I've seen announcements because obviously Australian Ultimate wants to encourage more teams to come.
Probably for that reason, right? Because they're not getting
definitely. But it is interesting. It'll be interesting to see the numbers for each division. And I understand, obviously, cost is really prohibitive, and you can't find a more expensive place probably to fly. But it is kind of a shame to know that they're having trouble getting teams registered.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised about China because I know China's been making a big push with them hosting World Games. So surprised they're not. Hong Kong is sending a team, so my heritage and background showing up. Maybe they need an extra player. I should talk to them.
Ireland's not sending a team, so that's my heritage and background.
But hey, I want to give a quick shout out. I know this is not a Worlds podcast, but Argentina is on this list, Kelsey, and Panama as well. So those are teams you don't normally see up in these tournaments.
No, I think this is the first time that Argentina is sending a team. I don't know about Panama, but I think it is the first time for Argentina. So that's really fun.
Yeah, William Brody Brabham, the Ultimate Destroyer himself, said this is Argentina's first country-based international event at any age. Wow. They have sent teams to PAOK and WUC, but like World Clubs. And and this will be Panama's first. See, this is where you get into trouble. Is this WUC? You can't call this WUC as well. So this will be Panama's first WUC as well. So really cool that there's some countries that, and Argentina and Panama is not that close to Australia. So they're also coming. So you'll get a mix of different countries. There will, of course, be your usual blowouts for some teams, right, early in the tournament, and then it will get pretty intense after that. USA has not announced their rosters, correct? Oh no, they announced their invitees.
Their tryout invites, yeah. They haven't even hosted tryouts yet.
Wild.
I mean, they probably just know that they can put together any team and make a good run at it. So
yeah, it's like where their like second open or second mixed or second women's team could probably do just as well. So it must be nice when you have that much talent. But anyways, that concludes our episode. Thank you, Kelsey, for coming on. Kelsey's actually going to join me subscriber only. I'm going to do a little throwback to when I used to host a podcast. I would do kind of like I'm going to remember some of the questions I would ask, but it's going to be like a kind of rapid fiery type series with Kelsey.
I have no idea what's coming. So
yeah, which is how I did it before. It was a very authentic answer. So join Kelsey for that. Any other final words from Halifax Finest over there?
Halifax Finest, thank you so much. No,
my
I don't
go-to
think so. I
trope
hope
when I
everyone had
commentate.
No, I'll take it. It was personal and nice. Yeah, I hope everyone had a really good New Year, and I hope everyone has a really good 2024. I'm sure I'll be on again at some point. When
Sooner
you need
rather than
an
later, I
East
think.
Coast voice, but that's pretty much all I have right now. I'm not going to make such bold predictions because I got less than half right. So I'll keep those to just telling my friends, my hot takes.
Yeah, I know the deep look dropped recently, at least at the time of this recording. Do they do a review of their picks from before? Because I think they do, right?
I have no idea. I'm
I
going to be
wonder
really
if
honest
they-
with you, Theo. The only episode of Deep Look I've listened to start to finish is the one I was on.
Oh, you're one of those. You know what's actually funny is I'm going to be honest with you. The only episodes I don't listen to podcasts are the ones that feature me. So I don't really listen back to the audio of the podcast. If something goes wrong, I hear editor Lindsay Sue telling me I'm tapping on the desk too much. So then I know that, but I don't actually listen to it. So
I don't usually listen to ones I'm on because if you just as a note to people, if you ever want to humble yourself, oh my God, listen to yourself on a podcast. I had to listen today to remember what my predictions were. And I was like, this is a form of self-torture to listen to yourself talk and hear all your little ticks and all your stupid phrases. It's awful.
Yeah,
but the Deep Look was, I think, the first podcast I had ever done. And so I was nervous, and so I wanted to hear how it sounded. So I think I listened to it.
I will say this for the audience, for full authenticity purposes.
Mm-hmm.
I do listen to a lot of my commentary back though. So I during the holiday break when I was off for a while, I went on a binge. So I just like click games that I did, and I was just like, I'm just going to put this on in the background and just like hear. And I'm like, okay, it's there's some good stuff in here. There's some things to change, but
I think that would also be like informative for improving your commentary. So I could see like the benefit of that for sure. I think I could. I have listened to my commentary a little bit. I've only done a few games, but I find it hard. When people text me telling me like, "Oh, I heard your voice," I'm like, I'm dying inside.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
really hard.
used to it by now. So
that's fair.
Yeah, and I remember when I was a zealous commentator when I first started, I made like a highlight tape.
You're
and
so
I would
calm now.
Yeah, very calm compared to before, right? So, wink, wink. There's no video, so you can't see that. But I would do like a highlight tape, and I would just like repeat. I would just like continuously like click the same phrase. I'm trying to like narrow it down properly, and I'm like callousing my mind to hearing my voice nonstop. So that's enough ranting from the both of us. We could chat here all day, but we'll let you get on with your day, Huckin audience. Thank you again. Follow us up on Instagram, all that good stuff. Hit us up on huckin@ultiworld.com. We don't get a lot of emails. We do get them from time to time, but if you want to send
people
an email,
have ideas for things they want covered in 2024, they should email you.
That's a good question. That's good. Maybe I'll use that as social media at some point. Like I said last week, taking a little bit of it did take a little bit of a breather to reset. So thank you for your patience in that, audience. And with that, we will see you perhaps, or I will see you perhaps next week.
Bye.